Okay, welcome back, guys. As promised, special guest, Howard. Thank you very much for coming, Howard.
Welcome.
Howard's a bit of a sporting legend, sailing world champion, elite trampoline coach, but what we're really after is the rugby. Played for London Welsh.
Short while,
but at Cardiff College as well. In the year of Gareth Edwards. I mean, who else were you at Cardiff College with?
JJ Williams.
Not bad player.
John Bevan, who went rugby league.
Rugby league, did he?
In the end,
okay.
yeah. Roy Berger, fantastic centre. Paul Evans, fantastic, built like a fly half but played inside centre for Cardiff. Sometimes played 10.
Well, it's going back that way now, isn't it? Ball playing 12s.
Yeah, it is. JJ Williams, I've mentioned on the wing, the flyer, who actually didn't really start playing rugby too late. He was a sprinter. Yeah.
Wow. His son was a sprinter as well.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
that's right. The Lane brothers, Roger and Stuart Lane.
They're not a bad team.
Fantastic team. Beat Cardiff. Actually beat Cardiff in a floodlit.
As in Cardiff, the club.
The club. Mind you, Edwards had to play for the college. Yeah, and it was a good team.
Right. And can you just tell us that story? It's a great story when you being selected or you're at the trials at Cardiff College.
I was a scrum half in my school.
Howard was a scrum half. We're talking about players not being able to think on their feet. What happened?
I was standing with Rob Williams, who came from the same school as me in Cardiff, and we were at the trials, and I was a scrum half, and we only had 2 college teams at Cardiff.
Okay.
And I was waiting, and they were saying position, and all of a sudden it was coming down. Gareth Edwards. I thought, oh my God, Gareth Edwards. 9. Next one, Gwynfor Phillips, Bridgen scrum off. 9. Yeah. Selwyn Williams, Leslie scrum off. 9. I was counting.
That's three nines.
3 world class scrum halves already. Came to me, he said, name Howard Tier, position 10. And Rob Williams said, you don't play 10. I said, I do now. That's how I changed from scrum half, schoolboy scrum half to.
So you got 10. Some service off Gareth Edwards?
Yeah, I mean, his service wasn't great. It was one of the criticisms in those days. He had to go into the sports hall, and we had a square up on the wall, and he had to spin. He learned to spin pass, and he was a dive pass.
Well, it's a good lesson that even the greats work hard. You know,
you had to work hard.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
okay. Well, that's fantastic. So Howard's coming from a Welsh perspective here, a big Welsh fan as well. I've just given him our squad that we kind of fought over in the last video, and he's had a little look through. Where have we made some mistakes here, Howard?
Well, I've sort of got Jamie George as the first choice hooker, although Ken Owens is in my squad.
I quite like that because, as you know, I go on about Jamie George all the time.
Yeah, I think.
I didn't realise you rated him.
I do rate him. I had him in, and I had him marginally over Ken Owens, although I think Ken Owens is really good about the park.
He's come on last year, Ken Owens, really.
Massively.
Really
his throwing in has been massive.
He was off my radar last year, but he's...
Yeah. I've definitely got Mako Vunipola as a prop.
Yeah.
First choice prop in there. But I've also picked in the squad Gethin Jenkins. I think he'll get a shout because...
Why Gethin Jenkins? He wasn't in our thinking.
He's got fit again. He's a good presence. He's another leader on the pitch. I think he'll be good for 50, 60 minutes.
Yeah.
He's great over the ball. He's often the one that arrives and gets his hands on that ball in rucks and turns it over. Steals the ball.
Yeah.
So I've got him in the squad, but I've got Mako Vunipola, and the other I've got Furlong by far.
What do you think? We put Carl Sinclair in there as a bit of a bolter. Would you put Jenkins in instead?
I think I would. Yeah, possibly.
That's a good call.
I think I would. Thought of that. I like Sinclair as well, but
and no Hartley from you either.
No, I wouldn't pick Hartley.
No,
I think he's a loose cannon. I wouldn't have him in my side. Really.
Okay, I was kind of thinking that if he went, he'd kind of go as the captain and the whole thing, because leadership's probably his strongest suit.
I think you've got other. Well, we'll come to it later, but I think you've got 2 obvious choices for captain there for me.
The 2 Welsh guys, you mean?
Well, I do. I'm not biased.
Okay, all right. So, start front row. You're happy with? I like Jamie George. I'd like to see that.
Furlong's a great,
Furlong's
fantastic tight end.
I think he's absolute quality, real world class.
Me too, world class. I agree.
In our second rows, you heard that Alex actually axed a Tojo.
No.
I just dropped my pen. I couldn't believe it.
I wouldn't. I would put him in. I think playing alongside Alan Wynne, his experience, Alan Wynne's experience would, and I think he's an athlete and he's a ball handler. and he's learning.
I think they'd complement each other really well.
I agree. I did put him in.
Are there any other second rows that we disagree with?
I've sort of got Henderson and Cruz. I haven't got Launchbury.
I'd put Cruz into my team, but I got outvoted. I think he's the outstanding line out.
Yeah, me too.
For poaching other people's ball.
Me too. I agree. And Richie Gray would have had an outside shot, but he's not playing too well this year, actually.
Well, no, he got in our squad, but I wasn't sure. Johnny, I think, has got the talent.
Yeah.
So I'll take him as kind of the bolter.
Johnny Gray.
Yeah, Johnny Gray,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure about Richie, but he was in ours. Kind of back row-wise, you've got Moriarty, Warburton, Standard, Tipperick.
Well, I've sort of put Moriarty in the second row. I don't know how I've done that.
Okay.
He's clearly not a second row. That's his dad, isn't it?
You put his dad in?
Yeah, no, I didn't really.
Well,
I got Ross. He's been legendary this year, and I think if there hadn't been some coaching errors and subbing him off in the England game...
In that England game, he was the best I've seen as six for a long time. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it. Do you think will he make the team or even the bench? The test team.
I think it's going to be close between on the bench with him and maybe Peter O'Mahony. I've got in there because I like the way he's come on.
Yeah, he's really played well at the weekend as well.
Yeah, I'd have CJ Stander and Sam Warburton starting,
and that's what we've got.
And then I'd have Toby Felatow as number 8.
Okay. So I mean, we've got Billy, because I just don't think you can leave him out.
I think he'll be in the squad.
Yeah,
but I think Felatow is an he's had this time out with injury, but he's a world class.
No, I think we see the last couple of games actually. He's got better and
club
better.
Games. He's been superb.
He could well start.
I've got him starting.
Yeah,
I've got him starting with Warburton and CJ Stander. But it grieves me to leave out Tipperick. And I think Tipperick...
Out of the starting team?
Yeah, I don't know why I've left him out, but...
You can change it if you want. We're going to put your team down the side, Howard, so...
I'd have to leave out CJ Stander if I did that, and it would be a total Welsh back row, which sounds horrendously biased. And I really rate CJ Stander. Yeah. But Tipperick around the park, he could play centre, couldn't he? He's so quick.
Well, I just think... I hadn't put Tipperick in, but if you had
Stander... in the squad?
No, he's in the squad.
Oh, yeah.
If I had Stander and Vunipola starting, I could definitely justify Tipperick at 7.
Yeah.
So you've got your 2 big guys and then your athlete, so...
I like Warburton. He's strong over the ball. He steals a lot. He's good around the park. He's a good tackler.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's strong, isn't he?
And experience. So your captain's going to come from that pack, I take it?
I would go with Alan Wynne. Yep. Although I worry about him not. I think he'll hand the armband over after about 60, maybe.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think he's a leader.
Yeah, I think he's a real charismatic fellow as well.
He's good in the changing rooms.
Possibly a bit more charismatic than Warburton.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah, I think in the Lions, they need that emotion to win.
Yeah,
if they're going to win.
He's going to be the motivator, I think.
Fantastic. Okay, 9s.
Yeah,
your
I'm a great Rhys Webb. Yeah, I'm a great Rhys Webb fan because he's the typical 9, cheeky chappy, always looking for an edge. Plays the referees. He's become a bit of a whinger lately, and that's just slightly...
It's something we highlighted, I think, in one of our last videos. Yes, yeah. But I don't think you don't pick him because of that.
No, I'd pick him, but he'll definitely be in my squad. I don't think he'll start. I think he'll go with the half-back pairings of Murray and Sexton.
Yeah, I mean, we started Webb just because we thought he was the form player.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Conor Murray starting wouldn't be a problem for me.
And I think the fact he likes partnerships, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Gatlin. So I think he'll maybe go for the Irish partnership there.
Okay, with Webb on the bench.
I think Webb will come on.
That's nice.
I think he'll come on halfway through.
Really good.
60 minutes.
So who's your third scrum half?
I've got...
Laidlaw.
Yeah, I've got Laidlaw.
Yeah, no, Alex went Laidlaw. I went for Youngs, but all I was saying with Laidlaw is I can't see him making the test side. So he'd kind of be a leader in the... side, which is fine.
I wouldn't argue against Youngs. I think he's been the best he's been this year, to be honest.
All-round game.
All-round game. I just don't... I think Laidlaw is just more charismatic because he's one of these... Another leader.
He's a real leader.
Yeah.
Fantastic organiser.
Yeah.
Someone might get an injury and...
He's injured at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, he's injured, but if one of the other 3 get injured as well... Yeah, he's a great player. 2 10s?
Well, I've gone off bigger.
You've crossed him out.
I have crossed him out. I had him in. I've crossed him out.
And I had him out, and I've put him in I put him in as the midweek 10, the solid midweek 10.
I put Farrell at 10.
Okay.
I
in
would
the midweek.
Farrell is a 10 by his own admission.
He's a very good 10.
Did you see the interview he did on television?
Yeah, no, he is a 10.
He said, I'm a 10.
And he's playing well at 10.
And I would put him in as 10.
So he's your second 10?
He would be my second 10 after Sexton. Bigger just gets on my nerves. He's another one that's really whinging at referees at the moment and out of the game when he's whinging.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to take that.
And his invite us dance when he's kicking.
I'm just thinking, Howard, there's 7 midweek games? Something like that?
Why have we only got 2 10s, possibly?
Just because that's what Gatland went last time.
Okay.
And I've picked Farrell as a 12, so that gives you your 3 10s. But
you
think he should pick 3 10s? Just out and out.
I do, yes. Of which Farrell is one, so you could switch as a 12.
Who would be your third then if it was 3 10s? Put you on the spot there.
You have.
Ford, Russell.
To be honest, I think I'd go for Russell.
Yeah.
Ford, I've been impressed with this year, but I think I would go for Russell.
I think they'd target him as well, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they will target him.
Yeah, we put Russell in as the second.
Yeah, 10. I think I'd go for Russell.
So who's starting 10?
I would say Sexton. I would say the half-back pair.
And you're not starting Farrell at 12 then? Which is fine.
No. You put me on the spot because if he's not going to be 10...
Well, he can be selected as a 10 in the squad and play 12.
Yeah, I would definitely have him in the squad. He's definitely going to be in my squad.
So who's your 12
He'd be
and 13
on my bench.
Starting 12, 13.
Well, I'm worried about Jonathan Joseph's defence against these big All Blacks coming down his channel. I don't think he's the best tackler in the world, but he's exciting, and I think Gatland has said he wants to play expansive.
Yeah, I think he's a better tackler than people think, but you kind of pick him for his attacking game, don't you?
Very much so. Yeah. He's an exciting player. So I've gone for him
at 13.
And
12.
I've gone for Jonathan Davis. I know that's a bit controversial. Yeah, because Gatland loves Jonathan Davis. And I've also put Jamie Roberts in the squad because I think he'll partner them up again at some stage. That was his most successful partnership, I think.
Well, Jonathan Davis missed out on our squad. I had him in initially as a flexible player, 12, 13 and experienced, but he didn't make it in the end just because I don't think he's been playing that well.
No. I wouldn't be sad if it was Farrell and, if Farrell's not going to start at 10 for me. Yeah. Because he can play at 12 really
Depends how Gatland wants to play.
Yeah, and Farrell and Joseph played together.
Yeah.
So that
lovely. Wings, fullbacks?
Well, I've gone for George North because I think...
starting?
Yeah, and I think if they bring him into the game early, because he's left out of the game too often this year with Wales. I don't think until the later games he came into the game.
Yeah, when he's got the ball in his hands and he's psychologically in the right place, there's no one like him.
He's tremendous powerhouse, isn't he, as well? And I seriously think Wales, it sounds biased, but should have won that championship. They should have won the Six Nations. They made coaching mistakes, not player mistakes, coaching mistakes. And if Gatland had been there, and Gatland will be there with this, that's why I've got so many.
I completely agree with you. I actually tipped Wales to win the whole thing.
They had a bad half against Scotland. They had a dreadful loss of substitutions and various things happening against England, which cost them.
And I think Ireland will be kicking themselves not to win that tournament either. It was there for the
So I've gone for I've gone for Lee Halfpenny because I think he's probably one of the best goal kickers in the world.
So he's going to kick for you.
I would have him kicking, because I haven't.
Though you got Sexton there.
Yeah, I would have Lee Halfpenny. I think Lee Halfpenny is good over the complete range.
Yep.
Sexton isn't so good with after about 40 metres.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
I've got Anthony Watson there as well as
a winger,
and Elliot Daly.
Okay, yeah, real class player.
And then I've gone for fullback. I've gone for I've got Stuart Hogg, Liam Williams, and Mike Brown.
Well, I was saying to Alex, has Mike Brown done enough to be a Lion? I mean, he's very solid, very dependable.
He looks lightweight, doesn't he, compared to some of the...
He looks lightweight, but he's really
he's difficult to tackle. Strong. He breaks that gain line.
He'd be a great midweek 15.
Liam Williams, I find, should be fullback for Wales anyway.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I'm sure Wales had that the wrong way round. They should have had Halfpenny on the wing.
Definitely. Who's starting 15 for you then?
Stuart Hogg.
Okay. Yeah.
A fit Stuart Hogg, if he is fit.
Dangerous.
He's dangerous. And I think the only thing is I'm not sure the All Blacks will kick a lot. They offload, don't they? I'm not convinced they'll kick to our back.
We'll see. I mean, it would be good to try and tempt them maybe to kick at Stuart Hogg and get him to run back.
Yeah, I think if you've got Stuart Hogg, Halfpenny and North as your back three running
Yeah.
at them, that could be a bit of
We'll see. Okay, so what predictions then, Howard? Last but not least, how do you see this tour going? Because everyone's very excited, but...
I think the problem that midweek games are going to be everything. The problem is every midweek game is like a test because there's no weak sides. There's no easy pickings.
You see what the New Zealand teams are doing in Super Rugby.
Absolutely. When I watch it, it just seems a yard faster than Northern Hemisphere rugby.
It is, but the defence maybe is a yard slower.
Yeah, I think the UK defence, the teams in the UK, their defence is much stronger, and faster off the line.
Yeah.
But I think it depends how he plays the midweek games. I think he's got to sacrifice midweek games. They can't go for 100% record of the whole
This
tour.
is why I picked what's his name at 10, Bigger at 10, because I just wanted
that. A bit of a hitting. He's a good tackler.
That solid midweek team that just doesn't get pushed around.
Much anyway.
But yeah, midweek. If they get a lot of injuries in those midweek games as well, I think that could impact the tests.
That very much so. But I think if they handle the midweek games well, don't worry too much about win or lose. Obviously they'll want to win, and protect their main test players. I think they could just edge it.
You think 2-1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just edge it.
I think
they'll win the first one.
Okay.
Because they'll all be fresh.
Yeah.
And they'll
be hanging on with
it. And All Blacks won't have learned too much about them in terms of playing with them. So I think if they're going to win one early one, then it'll be 2-1. But if they lose the first test, I think it'll be 3-0.
I honestly think 3-0 is the most likely result. That sounds really hard.
For the All Blacks?
Yeah. If the Lions win a game, I think they've done really well, actually. If they win the series, I think it's the greatest Lions achievement ever if they win the series, which I want to happen, but...
Well, the last time that happened was 71.
Okay, well,
that was Gareth Edwards.
There you go, that would be your lot.
Yeah, that's
so anyway, thank you very much, Howard. Food for thought. Please comment on Howard's team below, and please post your own teams as well. And next time we'll see you probably be after the squad's been announced. Thank you very much, Howard. Appreciate that.
No problem.
And see you later, guys.